Good morning. Welcome to Daily Wisdom. We're breaking down some personal growth principles, 10, 15 minutes, and applying it into your life. Today, we're going to be talking about the art of leading by inspiration. The art of leading by inspiration. So if that's something that interests you, be sure to share this with someone, tag this with someone as well, too. We also have a private Zoom room that you're more than welcome to join us, well, too. We got our Zoom crew. Great to see you guys. I love seeing your faces. I love talking to you guys in the morning. It's a really, really cool crew when you have people that want to get together and they want to study something that could be enriching for their lives. All right. So Melissa, good morning. Great to see you. So I wonder if you've been through something like this as well, too. Does anyone have anybody in your life that you would love to change something about? Love to change something about, whether it's a family member, it's a friend, a business partner, right? Yeah. A lot of changes that other people can happen, right? And how easy is it? It's so simple because of other people, isn't it? Right? It's like, obviously they should do things this way. Obviously they should do things that way. And even with the best of intentions, I just wonder if you've had those conversations where it's really, really serious, it's really intense, and you try to get them to change something, but it ends up being a bad situation, right? So I'll just share things I've learned in my own marriage. Marriage, I've been taught, is not designed to make you happy necessarily. Marriage is designed to make you holy, meaning it makes you better. And it definitely does. The primary way that it does is through fights and arguments and discussions, right? As much as I don't want that to happen, that is how it is. And I'll tell you this, and I wonder if you've been through the same as well too. I'll go into an argument or a discussion, and maybe this is you and your spouse, you and your friend, you and your family member, you and your partner, you and your business partners, whatever. And I will go in whenever there's a situation between me and my wife. And I remember one of our biggest fights ever was because there was something obviously wrong with my wife. It's obvious she's wrong, right? Have you been through that? It's obviously their fault, isn't it? It's obviously something that they should do better. And not being wise, I went about it the wrong way. Instead of being graceful and, patient and stuff like that, I'll admit I was far from patient. But I said, this time it's gonna be different. And we sat down and I talked to her. And I was straight up. I was like, this is going to change. And that ended up being the worst thing that could ever happen. I think that probably was a situation where I got kicked out of my own room for the first time. And it was such a bad thing that happened. I'm like, oh my gosh, where did I go wrong on that? And I realized the truth is this is, as much as we want to change anyone else, they could be a lover, a friend, a partner, a colleague, the only person that we can change is ourselves. I'm sure you can think about a situation in your life. And more specifically, I want us to apply this into areas in our life right now as well, too. And what I decided to do was this. Jim Rohn says in his audio, we're going through Jim Rohn's Building Your Network Marketing Business, and we're going through the skill sets. He said change his life, change his business, change his career. And the final skill that he said was the greatest skill of them all. And the skill is this: learning how to inspire. Learning how to inspire. There's a difference of leading by intimidation, which is what I was trying to do there, right? I'm sure parents, you probably know what that sounds like or looks like, or maybe it's you with your partners or you with your business colleagues, whatever that it is. Intimidation is when we try to pin someone down and we try to say, this is why you need to do this, blah, 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 blah. And it's like really, really intense. There's a difference of leading by intimidation. It's forceful. It's a managerial type of situation. And in fact, many times that's how we are. Yeah, we don't remember what caused the fight, right? It's just, we just know it was bad. Intimidation is when we, honestly, we lose all hope in the other things that we have going on. We lose all tools that we have and we say, this is the final straw that we can do. And we have to pin them down. And obviously there are some times where it has to be pretty intense. But the first place to go to is if we can challenge ourselves to inspire rather than intimidate. It is powerful because intimidation means that they're only going to change when we tell them to. And I think especially in relationships, we know the quirks of someone else really, really well, right? And we have to nag at them. Who here loves nagging? You love nagging. You love being nagged at. You love nagging, right? It's just not a fun thing, right? And that gives you a short-term benefit because nagging enough, and they will eventually, out of desperation, they will take the action. But the issue of nagging or intimidation is that it won't be a long-term behavioral change, right? We all know that. You've all seen how that works. And you know what's so interesting as well, too, is that it's a challenge, right? Inspiration is not an easy thing to do, but it's powerful when you're inspired to do something, because inspiration is the ability for you to inspire someone else to do things out of their own will, to do something, then to make a change. How powerful would that be? If your family changed without you even trying to make them change, if your business partners change because you want that you inspired them to change, if your friend circle changed because you inspired them to change, that they see an example in you so much that they're just like, wow, that's the way to do it. And it's such a key thing to do because it's easier said than done. It's easier said than done. In fact, let me go through an extreme example. You know what's fascinating is this. How do you inspire, right? Well, this is how not to inspire. This was an interesting study. So they studied these inmates, these prisoners. And you know what they realized? That prisoners on average, they have a lesser vocabulary and they're more prone to use their fists rather than their words. They're more prone to use their bodies rather than the other ways to influence. And because of that, they're basically trying to lead by intimidation rather than inspiration. And that's why they end up in jail. So I hope you don't end up in jail, but you might end up in jail in a relationship if we don't do this right. For me, I was in jail from my room, out of my room for a little bit. Yes, just like what Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. So I want us to think this today. Think about that person or persons that you want to change. Like you, and it's good, right? It's good change, right? They're doing something in their life that they shouldn't be doing. They're your business partner and they're not up to the expectation, up to the standard that you know is going to help them to hit their goals. Whatever it is, whoever it is, I want you to think about that person now. Don't tell me who it is. Don't poke them to the side if you can. Don't message them right now. Hey, I'm thinking about you, but put a 1 in the chat if you can think of somebody that you would love to see positive change in. You would love to see positive change in. I'm thinking about some people's now, right? Yeah. So as you think about them and you think about what you want to be changed, here's the simplicity that is challenging to do. What role model must I be to inspire the change in that person? What must I showcase to inspire change in that person? And to what degree must I inspire? How far can I move? How greater can I get in whatever that place is? If you want them to be more patient, can I be more patient? If you want them to do more sales, can I do more sales? If you want them to do whatever, what can I do to the next degree? Because the only person we can change is ourselves at the end of the day. And then one of the biggest frustrations that we all live through is trying to control the things that we don't have control on. Can't control the weather. We can't control a lot of things, to be honest, right? Like this world, like elections just happened. We can't control elections, right? We can't control our families. We can't control our friends, but we can control. The most powerful thing to control is ourselves and our decisions and the ways that we act. But it's also powerful influence, because if you choose the higher ground to choose to change you and you inspire them, then that is an incredible art. So going back to our marriage story, so I went through that bad situation. I got locked out, and I was thinking to myself, this is probably not something sustainable in a good way. I don't want to get locked out again. Not worth the argument, not worth the heartbreak, not worth all that stuff, right? So I thought, next time I go through this situation, I'm going to play it different. I'm going to shut my mouth. I'm going to listen. And then I'm going to seek to inspire based off of my example to the next level. And what I realize is this, and I'm not perfect at it, but I'm aiming to get better at it. Any single time that I turn the focus back on me and get me better and focus on what I need to do, focus on being a better lover, focus on being a better friend, focus on being a better leader, focus on doing the things that I want to see in my business. The more that I focus on what I can change in myself and I lead a different example, the more inspired and the more change that I'm seeing in those around me that I want to influence. And I remember there's multiple conversations where my wife will end up coming up to me, and me to her, of course, as well too, but just using this as a story. She'll come up to me and be like, babe, I'm so inspired. I'm like, yes. Yes, I'm inspired to be better. I'm inspired to study more. I'm inspired to work on me more. I'm inspired to change this. I'm like, wow. I didn't have to nag. I didn't have to try to confront them, you know. I just had to lead me. But aim to be so inspiring that those around you feel uncomfortable not changing. Be such an example that those around you are infected by your inspiration in a positive way. Be so inspiring that regardless of what the people around you are going through, that they can't help but to grow when they're around you. And Jim Rohn said that if you learn that art of inspiration, that's how you can actually impact thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of lives. It's the only way to do it. So my challenge to you today is this. Think about that person that you would love to see change in your business, in your life, in your family, in your friendship, wherever that it is. And think to yourself, how can I show up today in a more inspiring way? And how can I be that change that I want to see in the world? All right. So I hope you have that in mind. But other than that, who here's got an idea in mind already? Put a 2 in the chat. You have an idea in the mind already? Put a 2 in the chat. You know, I know for me, I know for sure I got something I got to do right now. Absolutely. Love it. Perfect, guys. Hey, well, if you enjoyed this, share this with someone, tag this with someone as well too. Be sure to come on Monday through Friday at this time. We do a daily wisdom call just like this, and we're implementing personal growth principles. This is open for anybody. So if you see on your friend's wall, feel free to join us as well too. Other than that, have an awesome day. Thanks for coming on.